Well, I think PPP is the way to go. It's not the panacea for all projects, but I think it crowds in best practice, gets in extra financial help. So I think it's working well, and I think in Africa we're just waking up to PPPs. But I think there's a massive challenge in power, in transport, in health. So this is the way to go. Well, again, I think, as I say, I think the market is ripe. We have to develop Africa. I think this is the last continent on Earth that we can work. So, and I think what PPP companies have, either transaction advisors or banks, they have the expertise in Europe. We have the opportunities, so I think it's a very good match. Well, this is actually the second time I've been here. I came here in the beginning, I think the first or second one. This is now the eighth one. And I think what I like here is to see the enthusiasm of the banking sector or the financial sector to invest in PPPs and the expertise of the transaction advisors that are here. So they are actually covering the whole life cycle of a PPP, from planning right through to tender documents. And I think what is nice about a PPP is that it goes in the life cycle of the project. So it looks at designing it, building it, operating it, and maintaining it. So you really look at the full life cycle of the project. Well, I think firstly to brag a bit, because we have the biggest PPP in Africa, building the train. But secondly, to learn, and I think we have to have exponential learning, where you learn from other people, and you could then exchange ideas. Africa is a very difficult continent. It has an English-speaking section, and it has a French-speaking section. So there's a big divide there. So how do you convey the message to the Franco side and the Anglo-Saxon side? You have to learn. When we started the train, I went to 38 countries, and the question I asked is, what would you do differently if you have to do it again? And I thought that if we build our system and the people come back to us and ask us what would you do differently, that would actually be a sign of success. And I think that's what we're doing at this conference. We are saying what worked and what didn't work. So these are the pitfalls, stay clear of it, and as I say, do exponential learning. I found that there are 4 things that have to be there. Maybe if I can start by saying these big projects take on average 14 years, from inception until the president cuts the ribbon. So in those 14 years, there are 4 things that have to be there. The first one is political will and support. So you have to have a political champion. The second one, it must be a viable project. So it has to be technically, financially, and legally viable. Thirdly, you have to have the money. You as government must be able to show this is the money, you have it available. The private sector must show an appetite to invest in your country. And the fourth one, you must have a way of getting community acceptance and buy-in. I see now on the TV the Heathrow extension that they have on the TV the last 2 nights, saying everybody's moaning about it. And that's got to do about acceptance, having the community buy-in. So these are the 4 things that you have to run simultaneously for 14 years. And I think that's what we've seen here again, is the political will, the viable project, the money, and the community acceptance.